Gran Turismo 7, it's out there. It's a disaster. That's maybe a little strong. People are pissed. Stop me if you heard this one, but people who play video games are pissed off about a video game.
I think
This time it's
this one though.
Yeah,
Should I stop you? Should we skip this one?
No, this one is different.
Okay.
There's some fun wrinkles here. So let's see. That game came out. People seemed very unhappy about the microtransaction aspect of the game, which again is a very stock thing. But it was a much more severe cost than the previous game in the franchise. And then on top of that, the game went down for about 30 hours because a patch hit that maybe had some potential to corrupt some saves. At least that's what their claim was. And so the game was down for a long time, which revealed just how little you can do if that game is not connected to the internet.
Oh, no.
It is very much limited to just like the music race, which is like a new goofy little thing they threw in there. And you kind of can't really play that game offline, which there's a lot of offline, like single player content in that game. It is not necessarily a multiplayer focused game the way GT Sport was supposed to be. And so that pissed off a lot of people who were already pissed off about the microtransaction stuff, which led to Kazunori Yamauchi from Polyphony Digital issuing a statement around here saying, this was a rare issue that was not seen during tests on the development hardware or the QA sessions prior to the release, but in order to prioritize the safety of the save data of the users, we decided to interrupt the release of 1.07 update and to make a 1.08 correctional update. And then further addressed some of the money stuff by saying, in GT7, I would like to have users enjoy lots of cars and races, even without microtransactions. At the same time, the pricing of cars is an important element that conveys their value and rarity, so I do think it's important for it to be linked with the real-world prices. There's a higher tier limited car that the prices will fluctuate based on external factors and some other stuff like that. So he's kind of addressing some of that as well. I want to make GT7 a game in which you can enjoy a variety of cars lots of different ways, and if possible, would like to try to avoid a situation where a player must mechanically keep replaying certain events over and over again. So in that, he is talking about a thing they did in these patches is people were grinding out races for credits. And so as a part of that patch, they just went in and reduced the rewards you get for some of those races to make it harder to grind for the expensive cars, thus making the microtransaction issue more of an issue because making it harder to earn money for free. We will in time let you know the update plans for additional content, additional race events, and additional features that will constructively resolve this. It pains me that I can't explain the details regarding this at the moment, but we plan on continuing to revise GT7 so that as many players as possible can enjoy the game. We would really appreciate it if everyone could watch over the growth of Gran Turismo 7 from a somewhat longer-term point of view. Which I get it because, like, ew. Like, what? Think about it this way. Gran Turismo 7 is supposed to be a game that you're meant to play for years because it's not like they're going to put one out next year. So in their mind, they're like, well, we've got years of content planned. And if you are grinding out enough credits right now to just buy all the fast cars that we expected you to have, like maybe you would get this car next year as like a thing you could shoot for a long time over your race career. If you're grinding out these credits, you're disrupting all our plans. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to us? You're playing the game wrong. So we will adjust the credits thusly to dissuade you from this nasty tactic. It's not a great way to solve this problem. Players have stricken back. I saw this morning on Video Games Chronicle.
They stopped driving their cars in the game. They're blocking the roads.
Protests.
Yep.
Clogging all the major arteries.
That's right. The convoy is pulled into fucking Dogs Turismo 3. No, they're running a script that lets them automatically run races and earn about 15 million credits a day doing so.
What?
Oh, okay. The next best thing.
Yeah, they have taken the PlayStation's Remote Play feature, which lets you control your PlayStation games from a Windows PC, which is where the script exists. And then you download a thing to your PC, and it interfaces with the Remote Play session, and then you just let it run all day, and it just runs the same event over and over again without you.
Good.
And
Stick it to the man.
And yeah, exactly. At the time of publishing of this article, Video Games Chronicle had not heard of anyone being banned or acted against for doing this. But this is all so hot and new. We will have to see how Sony reacts. But this is kind of getting away from them. That's a bad situation when you've got players passing around like auto driving scripts to grind out credits and stuff. Like, this is like the economy of this game probably needs to be addressed in grander fashion because yeah, that's no good.
We just have to be patient with it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So like I, don't know a super duper ton about Gran Turismo. It's a car game. But it's not like, this isn't like having an aimbot in a competitive atmosphere or something like that, right?
Yeah, so you're not doing this. Yes, it's a single player. You were just doing it to grind out credits.
Why do
the catch
they care
is, of course,
grind?
because they sell those credits for money. Because they let you buy those credits with real money, and so if you're circumventing,
you shouldn't. Anyway, so
well, I mean that ship sailed a decade and a half ago.
So, this is your own. You made your bed. Got a lie in it now.
This is what they created, and I feel for them because I'm sure on the development side, no one wanted this to happen.
No.
But at the same time, they have built that game in such a way to inspire users to do this, and that is the mistake they made, and that is the mistake they need to address in order to make things right for players. And find a way, because obviously I'm sure that they plan to support this game for years to come with new cars, new content, and all this other stuff. And if players are just grinding out all this stuff with a script and not spending any money on that additional content, at some point they're going to go like, hey, it's not financially viable for us to even make this content if you're just going to grind it out this way. So we're not going to support it.
There's some sort of capitalist microcosm lesson to be
Yeah.
learned here, but I'm not smart enough to make the comparison.
Quick question: is Gran Turismo? Are people playing it multiplayer? Or is it primarily like, oh, I want to unlock this car because I want to run these races against the AI, or I just want to get like better and better times?
I suspect different players play it for different reasons, right? But
Okay.
the AI in the game is not particularly human. It is very much like it wants to stick to its line unless you bump it off that line. And that's probably one of the bigger kind of gameplay knocks against it that I've seen going around, that I felt in my time with the game as well. But I think there's definitely an aspect of just like, hey, I just want to see these beautiful cars and do all this stuff. Like for me, I'm not into those high-end vehicles that they are selling this way, like with all the race stickers and all that other crap. Like I want to tune up drift cars and do stupid shit. And with like production model vehicles, that's my interest in car games. So that aspect of the game is certainly just not for me at all. But yeah, I mean, people who play it online, there is definitely a sub segment of players that take that online very seriously and have turned it into a full-on esport. And then some players have gone on to race in real actual cars after getting real good at Gran Turismo.
That's
not that it's iRacing or something like that. I mean, but it has been a stepping stone for people who want to get involved in a more real way. So it's interesting because just yesterday I saw someone walk out of a Best Buy with a copy of Gran Turismo 7 and a brand new racing wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I kind of want to live this life.
Look at you just being influenced so easily.
I know.
Don't buy
I
it.
resisted though. I resisted.
Don't buy a
Nice,
racing wheel. Don't buy a racing wheel.
Stay strong.
You don't need a racing wheel.
What about a whole setup with a chair?
Yeah,
okay,
and that'll
yeah.
be also in your shot if you buy a racing wheel, I feel like.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, it'll just be right here. I'll incorporate it into like producing the show and everything.
Instead, build
Found a
the
fade to
most
black.
accurate plane cockpit you can.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah.